get maybe thumbs up, green light for the wireframes. And then, yeah, and then just, I guess that's basically it, so that I can kind of get started with the visual design. So
awesome. Yeah, I'm more on the same page because there are some, like in the prototypes, there are some charts there, and not sure like if they should, like we should work on them already or not, because I'm doing the models in the background, the backend, so I'm using that as a parameter, but I'm not sure.
got it. Can you can you leave a comment inside the Figma on those particular charts where you have the questions, so that we can just like refer to those and maybe ask someone, ping someone to give you an answer.
Okay, can do that.
Okay. So all right, cool. So I see that you sent me the link to the prototype, or to the front end that you just started, which is great. And like my next step would be to start adding some visual design on top of that.
Nice.
And basically I'll just start with kind of the onboarding, and then we do have some time to actually, well, when I arrive to the modules actually, in the charts and all that stuff. And when it comes to the charts, are we going to be able to change the styling of the charts and stuff like that to match the design?
Yeah, that's a point, because if we're going to, like right now we're using Plotly, and like if we can go, yeah, we could like change it, but then we need to use like a more custom JavaScript plugin. But if, yeah, we can like we can just use like Next.js and the like any React chart component.
Okay.
Yeah, just like the interactiveness, like I think the bonding curve one, like it's a little crazy. Like there there are charts and you can go up and down, and like it might be interesting to iterate on those like more specific ones that you iterate in the chart, that like might be harder to implement, and just like iterate to find a middle ground. But the other ones that are like plain charts and you don't play with them, like don't play inside of them, I think it's pretty simple.
Yeah, well, we don't. Well, I don't know if we necessarily need to have like to have any interactions on the charts themselves, because on the left side we're gonna have these input fields, and so basically whatever you change, like whatever value you change there, it should automatically reflect on the chart itself, right? So and then like if on the chart we have the same option to, I don't know, move the handles or click on something or whatever, then those changes should also reflect back on the left side where those values you like initially put in, right? So
yeah, that's the simplest way for implement as well.
yeah, so like if we can lower the effort and maybe the timeline to reduce the inputs to be only made on the left side, and then just display the result on the chart, maybe that's a decision we want to make, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think like it's the like, because then we can just like create one component for the inputs and then like standardize it, and then it's pretty modular, and like it's faster to develop as well. And they have like custom inside of the chart inputs.
Yeah, I think like implementing, like from the implementation point of view, like the simple thing would be to have those inputs on the left side, and then I would love to, like, you when you code your first chart, like when you have it in the front end, like just use the whatever you design you have currently there, and once you have it ready, I will then take this screenshot of that chart that you created, and I will then, like, change the styles and whatever so that like it's easier for you then to just check the color sample, maybe check the font size or whatever, and then apply those to the chart instead of me creating some custom design chart and then giving you a hard time actually coding this custom made thing, right? So I suggest you do your chart, put it over there in the front end. I will take a look at it, and then I will just adjust the colors and the styles.
Okay, yeah, I think seems the fastest way. Like I'm working, like I have 4 sections, right? And like I split it like in each modeling, and the first one is complete. I'm working the second one, and there are 2 left.
Yeah,
but but I think that's the faster way.
Like, don't think about anything. Just put stuff on the screen. Don't think about design. Don't think about anything. For me, it's just important that I know, this stuff will be there, and that I can like, maybe stylize it a little bit better. Maybe like, change the placement of the stuff. Reorder. But for you, like, just go ahead and don't think about like, the styles or the placements or designs or whatever. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's the best way. Thanks.
Big hugs to everybody in the Give It house.
Yeah, we have quite the crew. Lorelei, Dan, Wonka, Sam, Septimus, Wonka's partner Daniela, and Chewy should be coming here tomorrow with his partner. Party over here.
So good.
Sorry for being late, guys, and also I have to bail early. This is not my day to do parameters. I'm really sorry about that. But did you guys already start with intentions distractions?
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, you can go ahead if you want.
My intentions are to pass the buck today. I'll be honest. I'm distracted by apparently Giveth Trace is launching today, the TC is launching tomorrow, and DAppNote's launching on Thursday. We'll see how those all work out, but I definitely don't want to be the blocker. So I'm going to hang out for the next 15 minutes and then see what else happens. But of course, let's cruise through anything that we need to cruise through, especially anything that's going to help us hatch. So I'm thinking like the lockup prototype is like the top priority, and then Vitor's got a small thing for the smallish thing for the actual hatched app. And
just regarding that, since you're here, like I cloned the repo like and trying to look at, but like these should appear in the like when you're going to hatch, but then like the page that it is right now is the one pre-hatch. So I'm not sure like how to access the hatch page. That would be only available like in the hatch. Not sure if a different branch or
maybe Septimus can get Sam to talk to you.
I can talk to him. I can talk to him.
Well, Zep is actually like, Sam is probably like, he can touch Sam, so.
Okay, I'll send him a message then.
Yeah. Message him, and if he's having issues, Paulo is also probably a good person to talk.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm also going to check if he's on the room. Otherwise, I will just call him.
Okay, thanks.
And with that, I'll pass it to Nate.
Yeah, hey, intentions are to discuss some of the parameters that I need to just clarify on some things before I post the rest of the forum posts, and then no distractions. And sorry I'm late. And I'll pass it to whoever hasn't gone.
Yeah, sure, I'll take it. Oh.
Or Mitch, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to see what Vitor's working on. I'd love to hear all the ideas from Marco. I'd like to get some validation on the summary tool that I posted in params and sync up with anything else. And I'll give it to Marco.
Yeah, I pass it over to Lauren.
Hey, yeah, I'm just here to be in the loop, and I was gonna just quickly look at the forum and see if there's anything I was missing that I said I'd put up. I'm a little bit distracted because we were gonna launch Trace, but there's some things. So I'm just kind of distracted by Twitter and Trace. Yeah, but I'm still also here listening. Did anyone not go? Katie, did you
Yeah,
go?
Suga.
Thanks. I'm just hanging out. I don't have intentions or distractions. just wanna be part of the params. Who do I pass to?
Thank you.
Thank
So, Mitch, you mentioned you want to get the validation of the analytics page.
Yeah. We were cooking
Do
up
you
some
wanna-
ideas on the call Sunday.
Mhm.
And so I can share screen, or I also dropped the image there in the params channel.
Yeah, go ahead.
And let me just pull it up here on Figma. Whoops. So yeah, we were looking at the summary page, and this is just from some comments from Griff and Vitor and some others about, and of course Marco, how we're going to tie this all together. So the big thing we have here is we need to relate the two modules, the augmented bonding curve and disputable conviction voting. And we really need to tie together this thing of like the TEC token as an economic tool is also a governance tool, and what happens in one will have a direct effect on the other. So what I kind of just threw together here really quickly was a sort of analytics tool or a summary tool or whatever you want to call it. And we kind of stitched together a couple of different elements from some of the other modules, and we just make this kind of new experience that'll hopefully tie things together. So here we take the augmented bonding curve and the disputable conviction graph. We get a couple inputs like the effective supply, the reserve balance, and then we have the same tool from the augmented bonding curve where they can add steps to it. And then we take a couple of the parameters that they've already put into it. So they've already chosen the entry tribute. They've already chosen the spending limit. This is the current price based on the steps that they've already put in on the small tool here. And then we show them a table and a time frame for passing a proposal. Adding in a couple things here like XDAI needed to buy out the vote and tribute collected from buyout. So I don't know if that makes sense. This is super rough. Like I was like, hey, what do we want to show people? And like, I feel like there's a lot more stuff that we could do with it, but I think this is a start.
So is your intention for this page to be just like an overview of like what have you done so far, or do you also want this page to be editable so that user can actually change settings directly on this page? Because yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so like I threw in some comments there because it's like it's a bit busy to add in like inputs, but it's like if this was just like a pop-up window from the summary page, like like go to analytics, like have like a little bar there, and then like they would have this tool that they could play with, and then they could click away, they could change their inputs, then they could go back to it really easily. That's my thought. Or you could just have it like a scroll be underneath the page or something, but make those two things, so the inputs and this tool's like very easy to access one from the other.
And yeah, exactly. And then like, well, I kind of understood this page to be more like an overview where you just look at the charts and the relationship of between the parameters and the data after you like did all the inputs before. And like if this page would be would be editable, then all the previous steps that we designed don't make sense anymore. I mean, like, why do we need them? Or but a question like the overview, like the parameters page, they're above there. advanced settings and the one that we had above, those are editable, right? Yeah, these two.
Yeah, these 2 pages are all editable.
Okay.
And this is just a tool, so they're not really changing any of the inputs.
Okay.
This is a tool so that they can tie together the economic system and the governance system, and so that they can understand the flow of the commons.
Yeah, makes sense. So like from the above page, where we have the settings where they can input actually data, and even the advanced, maybe I would put a button next to the view advanced settings, maybe I don't know, go to analytics or overview, charts overview or something, toggle charts overview or something like that. And then that can like either be a pop-up or maybe it can just like slide in from the bottom or something like that. You can quickly display all that, but also since you already created the analytics page, maybe it would be good to have this kind of as a standalone. And then like if you go on the left side where we have these modules, like step-by-step modules, maybe there could also be a link to go to analytics and have an overview at each of these steps.
Yeah, the thing is they have to finish all of these in order to have all the inputs here.
Got it.
So we need to have the spending limit, we need to have the entry tribute. They need to set the opening price so that we have the reserve ratio for the curve.
Got it.
And of course, all the disputable conviction stuff. So the conviction growth, this, the minimum conviction, that all needs to be set before they're able to really interact with this tool.
Yeah, I understand. And also, I think one thing that is missing maybe, or I would add maybe on this analytics page, is just a link or a button to go back to settings or change settings for each of the modules. So
yeah, exactly.
Below the bonding curve, change settings or change parameters, or no, change configuration or edit configuration or something. Whatever. And then you actually go back to that module where you want to change the settings.
Well, ideally they would just go back to the summary page, right?
The settings, yeah.
Right.
So you can then change that and then view again.
Right. Yeah, something like that. So just there in the corner, whatever.
Yeah. The only thing that I think maybe is like if users are going to use these last 2 steps and go like back and forth, and that may be some may be annoying to someone. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to make this necessary. Like it's like you need to play with this thing in order to like submit your proposal, but it's like it should be there for people who want to analyze it.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Okay, I'm glad at least somebody is like making sense of this, because I just kind of like invented it with a couple other ideas.
No, it totally makes sense. Sorry, and I read your comment regarding like whether it's going to be modal or it's going to be like from the bottom or something like that. So I think it's a cool idea, and definitely makes sense to have this kind of like overview. And basically, once we have the charts ready on the individual modules, anyway, we're just gonna put them here in a nice layout. Maybe like a grid view or something like that, side by side. So like having that on one single page, I think is a great idea.
Yeah. I'm wondering if anyone had a chance to look at it or has some ideas. Maybe Nate or Griff, Lauren.
I think Lauren is distracted right now.
I haven't had. Hey Marco, you may want to mute. You got some static. But I haven't had a chance to really review it. But the concept seems solid, right? Combining, just really focusing on the the end, giving them some context around the bonding curve and conviction voting, I think it's the right direction. But I'd have to really look at it a little bit deeper to have a full opinion.
Okay, all right. My main thing is like, if we go with this idea, it's like, what other information should we present to them to tie things together? Like maybe we can put in, the price floor, or, who knows?
I think it's going to be like scoping it to drill it down to the most important concepts, and I feel like we're going to discover what those are in user testing with some of the previous components. So I feel like I feel like in some ways this page will be better defined once we have a little bit more experience really thinking about what matters. What are we actually going to judge these different deployments on? It's going to be hard, man. I think we just need to do some user testing and understand, because like the first things that come to my mind are like, how many tokens, how many tokens would you have to pass this proposal, and how much are those tokens worth, given these different like scenarios, and like, because it might be, you might end up with some deployments that are like, oh yeah, you can buy 500 tokens and get $500 worth of tokens and get $1,000 out of the DAO. Uh-oh, that's a problem, right? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I heard that point specifically. So it was like, hey, how many tokens they need to buy out a vote, including the entry tribute, and all those other factors. But then when they buy out a vote, like how much actually goes into the commons tribute, right?
Yeah.
Because when they're buying, there's still entry tribute, and that's still actually going into the commons pool. And then also using the tool on the left there, it's constantly updating the price of the TEC. So they can see like, oh, okay, well then this changes everything. When I buy something, it changes the price of the TEC, and that changes the price to buy out votes.
Yeah, it might be interesting to show the market cap change, right? The price change will be 5 times. So if the price goes up 5%, if the price goes up, no, that's not right. Yeah, it might be interesting to show market cap in here too. I think I froze.
You good? Is there a different format that you could present it in, like a storyboard type, walkthrough of their design choice? Explore from like terms of governance and different aspects.
I think we already have that in the flow of configuring every module, if that's what you're asking. So like on the left side in the Figma, Mitch, maybe if you can like just zoom out quickly. Not sure, Nate, if you've seen that before.
Yeah, I was just trying to explore, like, after you've selected all the parameters and you've got your entire design out there, to just kind of put it in context of the entire picture.
Yeah, I think that was the intention that for this page actually that Mitch created, that you have like an overview of everything and how everything ties together. Any other comments from anyone?
I have to run, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries.
Feel free, of course, talking parameters, I guess.
Cheers, bye. Mitch, are you still there? Oh, we lost Mitch. Oh no.
Where can we see the designs, Marco?
Can you come again, please?
I'm just asking where I can find them.
Oh, you mean the prototype in Figma?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna share that in the parameters channel.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, can I clarify a couple of the parameters real quick, just for the forum post's sake? Are we establishing an input for the opening price and the reserve ratio, or just one of the two?
Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
My internet died. I'm on my phone. Sorry, can you repeat your question, Nate? And maybe I can answer it.
Yeah, I'm trying to see the relationship between the commons tribute, the reserve ratio, and the opening price. Are we putting an input for the opening price or the reserve ratio?
The opening price will be the input, and
So
then
the
from
reserve
that we'll
ratio will be
derive the
dictated
reserve
between.
ratio.
Sorry.
Exactly. So then from the opening price, we can derive the reserve ratio
Okay, based off of the commons tribute and the number of tokens.
based on the reserve balance. But yes,
Reserve.
the commons tribute, right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to clarify that. And
Yeah.
I was going to ask a question about the vesting mechanism. From what I understand, burning is going to be disabled during the vesting process, and not that the tokens are transferable for X amount of time. Is that correct? Or are they locked up?
They're locked up, so they cannot be sold or transferred.
But could they be used for governance?
Yes. Yeah.
They can be used for governance. Okay.
Yeah. So they'll be frozen for the token freeze, and then slowly with the thaw, they'll slowly become liquid, meaning that they can be sold or transferred.
And how does that work on the contract side of things? I mean, is it because from what I was understanding was that burning would just be disabled for a certain amount of time. But it sounds like there's something with the token actually that the mechanism that we're using is based on making non-transferable tokens transferable again.
Well, I think the tokens are held into a vesting contract, from my understanding. So you still are allowed to use them for governance, but you're not allowed to burn them or move them.
Okay, so it's just like an escrow contract.
Basically, sure.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify that.
Not a problem.
And last one is the token thaw, and we're doing that as a percentage over X amount of weeks. Is that correct? Like what weeks
It's
to
not really
100%?
based on weeks. It's just like a linear function, right? So from however many, well, I guess you can track it by weeks if you want. I gotta pull this up here.
So I think that was the only confusing part that I was having trouble with in terms of just like how would I actually responsibly define this parameter, because if I'm saying how many weeks to 100% thawed,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know,
Well,
because
what's confusing?
it will
Well, if
affect
you know
the
by
price floor.
after 52 weeks, you're gonna have 100% thaw, right?
Yeah, 52 weeks, is that what it was
Well,
on the
whatever we
example?
decide to set it as, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we're establishing the steps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and then it just is a rate.
Yeah. It's just like a linear rate.
Okay, that's all. Thank you. I just wanted to clarify those things before I posted the form.
Cool. Okay, my internet's back here. I just wanted to make a point before my internet cut out that Griff was mentioning that since we're going to have to do a bunch of user testing, maybe we'll hold off on like doing a bunch of design work on this analytics tool, Marco.
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
I'm just saying, since this thing might change once we realize from user testing, maybe just some idea validation, but this thing might be subject to change, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah, no worries. So like, yeah, I still have some way, you know, to like get to this page actually, and also we will most probably we'll be reusing all of the charts that we already have on the modules. So yeah, thanks for the heads up. I don't think that should be a problem. Once we get there, we'll have more clarity on how we're going to structure this page.
Okay, cool. Any questions around forum posts or this tool that we've talked about here before we move on to the stuff Vitor's been working on?
Will we be able to do user testing anytime soon?
This will depend on if we are able to get the graphs working with the Python and being able to hook up to some sort of UI that we can start testing on. So Vitor probably has the info.
Yeah. We have like 4 sections, and I finished the token free sequential, the simplest one. I'm doing the conviction, the disputable conviction voting. But then we have other 2 that I'm working on. But and the idea is that we have a Python deployment that is pretty simple, and you can just play with it without any design, and then you can just check the inputs outputs without having to think about the design, etc. Just like to check out that all the equations are correct and that the inputs outputs make sense. And then like after that we can just add to the page, etc. And in this regard, I'm just thinking that in the other dashboard you had a lot of issues like to getting sure that we were on the same page about the equations. So I'm thinking to add maybe a like implementation specs or something like that into each spec doc, like saying explicitly like what equations you're using for each chart, just to get sure that you're in the same page. But yeah, I'm working on these, and the idea is that we have like a Python deployment that you just like play with the charts inputs, and then like once like this is correct, then we can like implement the design, etc. Or we can do this together, iterate.
Awesome. Do you have anything new to show since we looked at it, I think, on Sunday?
Yeah, I started to work into the disputable conviction voting, but it is not completely working right now. So I'll keep working. It's not deployed, but yeah, I cannot show right now, but I will update during the week.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Does anyone have any questions about this backend stuff that's happening? Okay, good. Well, I don't think Griff had an exact schedule. He seemed like a little bit scattered, but was there anything else anyone was interested to talk about in parameters?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to follow through with some of the hack empties that we have.
Yeah.
What's the plan with the reserve balance? Is that just kind of a projection of how much we're going to have during the raise, or?
Well, we're going to have the target goal during the raise, right? So that'll be total hatch funds raised. And then the commons tribute will take a portion of that and put it in the commons pool. And then that leftover is going to be the reserve balance that will kickstart the augmented bonding curve.
So we're not going to have an input for the actual reserve balance. It's just going to be a commons tribute percentage, and then everything is derived from that.
Right. But like some of the tools that we're using, right, just to like make simulations, we need a reserve balance. So you can see on some of the tools, like there's buttons there just to put one in.
Yep.
But that's not an actual input. It's just there for simulations.
Okay. Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify. So there's not an actual input. It's just utilized for informational purposes.
No. We'll have an input once the hatch closes, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions, Katie, Zepti, Mahi?
Yeah, not really.
No, thank you.
Okay, great. Well,
Actually, I
I
have
don't really.
millions of questions.
You have millions of questions.
But I'll settle for 0 right now.
Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of stuff we've been dropping in the params channel. There's the Figma Commons config dashboard prototype that Marco, myself, and Vitor have been contributing to. And so if you just want to, have a look in there, look at some stuff, you can check out the prototype and get an idea of what we've been working on. Otherwise, we're rolling out all the forum posts this week and next week, so there'll be tons of more information on the forum to check out.
Awesome. Oops.
Okay. Yeah, of course. I'm going to propose, if no one has any more questions, we can end this meeting early.
Yeah, I'm good.
Great.